Hello everyone and welcome back to Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. If you're new to the channel and looking for reviews of bourbons, ryes, and some of those Dusties, then hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. Alright everyone, so today we're going to be reviewing Dovetail out of Barrell Craft Spirits in Louisville, Kentucky. This is actually bottling number 1 of 3, coming in at 61.45% ABV or 122.9 proof. It's non-age stated and is a blend of 10-year Indiana whiskey finished in Dunn, Vineyard, Cabernet Sauvignon casks and an 11-year-old Tennessee bourbon finished in blackstrap rum casks and late bottled vintage port pipes. All right, everybody, let's get into it. Decent size pour here. So looking at the color, it's a nice dark gold color, nice dark honey. Coats the glass very, very well. It's got pretty nice legs to it. Let's go into the nose. Okay, so right away you're hit with a little bit of that heat. Burns the nose a little bit. But one of the first things that you really pick up is there's a nice berry to a nice fruity berry. You get a little bit of that vanilla, you get some caramel in there. Just like a brown sugar, almost a little bit of like a maple syrup. It's almost like a blackberry that I'm picking up. Now, mind you, this bottle has been open for roughly 3 months, so it has had time to open up and develop a little bit. So, you know, going off of a neck pour, you're going to get something a little different. So, you know, give it time to develop and open up a little. Yeah, a little bit further away from the glass, you start to pick up some of those fruit notes, but a little bit further down into it, you'll start to pick up some of those rum characters. It's got a little bit of that syrup, like maple syrup. All right, guys, let's get into it. Cheers. Okay, so right away, you're definitely hit with a little bit of heat. Hits the front of the tongue, burns, but as it starts to develop, you start to pick up a lot of those rum characters. The brown sugars start to develop. On the finish is kind of peppery. Definitely has some of the like a peppery spice to it, but there's a lot of sweetness also that follows with that finish. So you get a sweet, you know, peppery finish, almost a candy-like sweetness towards the back. It coats the palate very well. It's very viscous, oily, buttery. And then you really a lot of the fruit characters really start to develop late on the palate. Like now I'm picking up, you know, a lot of those berry notes, those dark fruits, the plums and maybe some dates. Let's go in for a second sip, guys. Cheers. Yeah, so again, now the caramel and vanilla have become a little more forward now on the front of the palate, but you're still getting a lot of that those fruity characters sitting right on the mid palate there. The berries, the raisins, a lot of that dark fruit, which you're probably pulling out from those wine casks. But then the finish is where I feel you're getting a lot of the rum characters from. You're getting the brown sugars, and a nice sweetness, really nice candy sweetness on the finish, and a little peppery. Overall, really good stuff. So go one final sip, guys. Cheers. Yeah, again, front of the palate, the vanilla, the caramel, still getting hit by a little bit of that heat. Mid palate, you get the dark fruits all over it. Blackberries, the raisins, dates. And that finish is just phenomenal. Again, you're getting that sweetness, some brown sugars, a little bit of that maple syrup, followed by just a nice rich sweetness, a candy sweetness that just lingers. Gives you a nice hug there too. So really nice stuff, guys. Again, with some of the stuff that these guys are putting out, and the different whiskeys and bourbons and spirits, their rums, it's really, you find them so unique and so different. They could even be sister barrels and just be completely different from one another, pull out different characters from each one. But overall, again, I mean, it's a fantastic spirit here. Really good whiskeys and bourbons they pulled together to marry this. And it just goes to show that, this is a bottle that I'm going to hold on to for quite some time. All right, guys, so before we wrap up, I did want to give a couple shout outs here. I want to say thank you to Jason from the Mash and Drum, Scott from My Bourbon Journey, and Chris from Bourbon Sane for all your guys' support. For helping me with the editing software, walking me through the process, how a review should flow. Big shout out to Jason for creating those amazing logos for me. An awesome intro. I can't thank you guys enough. I also want to give a huge shout out to Jim and Randy from the Bourbon Road podcast. If you guys haven't had a chance to go listen to them, please do. They are putting out some fantastic stuff. You can also find them on YouTube at the Bourbon Road. But when Jason, Scott, and I were in Kentucky, we were on Jim and Randy's podcast, and we had a blind bottle challenge. And I was presented with this. It is a fantastic, solid piece of work right here. It's a flight tray created by Bourbon Barrel Rehab, who is creating all different kinds of custom decor with used barrel staves and barrels themselves. So thank you to Bourbon Barrel Rehab for creating this nice piece of work, and thank you to Jim and Randy from the Bourbon Road podcast. Again, go check those guys out. They're putting out some fantastic stuff, guys. All right, guys, I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. If you're looking for reviews of bourbons, ryes, and some of those dusties, then hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You can also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, guys, stay dusty.